Hi, this is Angela Cox, and here we are going to go to the next step of making our football. Right, now I have already sewed my two parts of the football together. I've used an overcast stitch just on one side. I'm going to trim these threads up a little bit. Right, so I have this football that's sewn together with an overcast stitch, and I have this football. Right, and we can see here what I have are two parts of my football. They look kind of like a little funny hat, right? Well, now I need to sew together this part of my football so that I need to sew together these footballs so that it becomes one big football, right? And remember, we always sew with the right sides together, right? So we're going to sew this inside out. So I have this football that's inside out and this football that's inside out. So I'm going to take this football that's inside out and I'm going to put it to the opposite color right here. Right? And these are the two that I'm going to put together. Now this corner right here, we want to be really careful that we pin it together on this corner all the way in and all the way back through. And make sure I don't get it through both of my footballs there, because I really want it to match at the corners, right? And I'm doing it inside out, so I should be able to see all my overcast stitches. Right here, the right sides together. I'm going to pin it at this corner of the football, right here. And then I'm going to push it up to pin through here. Right? Now I need to make sure that these get pinned together too. So I'm just going to put a pin here. Actually, let's do this side first. A pin here. And then you can see I'm going to sew this all together, but it's really, really important that I leave a hole so that I can flip it right side out and stuff it. I'm going to leave my hole on a straight part. I'm going to put it right here in the middle of this football, on the opposite side of where I put my letters. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I really need to make sure that I don't sew up my hole. So I'm going to make myself a little piece of paper and I'm going to write stop on it. Take my spot and I'm going to pin it right here to remind me to stop sewing right there. And then I'm going to start sewing right here. I want to leave a hole about the length of my finger, right? So about that long. So I'm going to take my threaded needle and I am going to start about right here. And I'm still using an overcast stitch. So I'm going to go all the way through, see my big ugly knot, come around, and just go over the edge of the fabric. And I'm going to use this overcast stitch to sew all the way around my football until I get to this pin that says stop, right? So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to sew all the way around, making sure I get through both layers of the fabric. And once again, it's really, really important that you make sure that you get through both layers of the fabric, right? And then the closer together you make these stitches, the better they're going to hold, right? So I'm going to make them pretty close together as I can get them. And I'm just going to sew all the way around this football. Notice right here I'm starting to get to this pin. Remember, the only reason that we pinned it together was to hold it in place so it doesn't move on us. So if we start getting close to the pin and it's in our way, we can take it out. But you're going to be really, really careful when you get to the corners, because on a football, right here, the corner is the place where you're most likely to have holes. And you don't want holes in your football, right? If you're going through the trouble of sewing it up, then you don't want to have to do it all over again. So I'm getting close to this pin, so I'm going to take it out, put it in my pin cushion, and I want to make sure that these four corners match up, right? So I'm just sewing right here. I missed a little spot right there, so I'm going to sew it again. It's 1,000 times easier to do it right the first time than to have to go back and do it again, right? So I'm going to go right here. And then I really, really, really want to make sure that I get this corner really good. So I might even put in a few extra stitches over here on this corner, right? Because I want it to make sure that I don't have a hole in it, okay? So I'm going around, and here I want to make sure that I get through the red and the black. Make sure I get them both, right? And I'm going to continue to sew all the way around. Now see, I'm starting to get low on thread. I got about a hand's worth of thread left, so that means I need to tie it off and get more thread. So when I tie it off, I'm just going to make an overcast stitch. I'm going to go through this loop right here 3 times, pull it and pull it tight so that I can give myself some more thread. And I'm going to cut this off, and then I'm just going to rethread my needle so that I can continue. And just like I sewed all the way around this edge, now I need to sew all the way around this edge, right? And I'm going to keep going until I get to this stop. Now, remember, if I run out of thread, go ahead and tie it off and get more thread, right? What I don't want to do is I don't want to try to make it through. Oh, I can make it, and then have my stitches come out, because that's so annoying whenever you've sewed it all up and then you have to redo it again. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep sewing all the way around, and here where I've gotten my new, where I had to start again, I just want to make sure that I start back 3 stitches. So let me see, where did I start? Right here. So this is where I ended. So I'm not going to start right here. I'm going to just sew over a few of those stitches because I don't want them to come out. That's so annoying whenever you've sewed it up already, but you didn't tie it off right, and then your stitches start coming out, right? So you just continue sewing all the way around the perimeter. And I'm going to keep sewing and keep sewing until I'm all the way around the perimeter, right? So I'm going to sew over here, over here, over here, until I get right to here. And this is where I'm going to stop.